Welcome to TimeOut, everybody. I'm here with Coach Zai and making his first time appearance, Dr. Pepper. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up,
All right,
fellas?
so huge Sunday in the NFL this week as the New Orleans Saints defeat the Steelers on
hmm
their home field 31-28. They lock up the home field in the NFC playoff race. The Steelers, their season's going down the toilet here. So, Coach Zai, what do you got on this one?
Well, this is a huge win for the Saints. One, I think Drew Brees locked up the MVP today, especially with Mahomes losing there at Seattle. But the Saints lock up home field advantage, which is huge. Tough place to play in the playoffs. So that's just I think that's huge for them. I don't the way the Rams are looking right now. I'm not sure they can go into New Orleans and win that game. So I think that's big. They came back, they finished the game. Just kind of, they just have had that urgency this year. You can kind of tell it's towards the end of Drew Brees' career. Um, I think he really wants to win one more. And, the pieces they have with Kamar and Ingram and Mike Thomas, they're just tough. You look at everybody that had a catch. There's about 8 guys that caught the ball today. So they were spreading the ball around. Ted Ginn came back, made an impact. So, they're looking tough. So I think more about the Saints than it is the Steelers. Because, I've been saying all year I think the Steelers were a pretender to begin with. So I think this is just a huge win for the Saints. And probably the team that knew it was a little more important won the game today, in my opinion.
I'd
Well,
agree.
you go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I'd agree with the Saints. Drew Brees, like you said, toward the end of his career, he's going ring chasing, going for one more.
hmm
And with that being in the Superdome, that is a very tough place to play. And I don't see the Rams. I don't see Philly if they somehow sneak in, or Dallas or Chicago. I don't see them going in there and winning the game there. So and plus the Saints, like you said they had 8 guys catch the ball today. If you have that many targets and that many threats out there to catch the ball as well as the run game with Kamara and Ingram, they're a tough team to stop. The Rams are, sort of flying under with what's happening with New Orleans right now. But I still think, like I said, the Saints, they're a team to look out for and possibly be playing in the Super Bowl this season.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Now the NFC goes through the Superdome, which is a really tough place to play, and but I just can't get over the Steelers again. They have such great talent. Their wide receivers, Antonio Brown, Juju, such a They didn't have Le'Veon, but not anymore. But they still got James Conner, even though he was hurt. They got so much talent around them. Young superstars, and they just always. Look at they're what 9-6 now, and 9-6-1, or 9-5-1, something like that. I
Eight,
mean
six,
that's
and one.
8-6-1.
8-6-1.
That's just crazy to me that last game of the week they're fighting for their playoff hopes. When they got such a good group of guys around them. But yeah, talking about the Saints, it'll definitely be tough to meet them. I think it's going to come down to the Rams and the Saints in the NFC Championship game. And I just don't want to count out the Rams yet. I think I would still take the Rams to win that game in a really close game, even though the Saints already beat the Rams. But there's something about the Rams tells me that, yeah, they've been struggling the last couple of weeks, but something tells me that, they're going to win in the Superdome. But also, if the Eagles sneak in, I would not be surprised if they make a run. I'll tell you guys that right now.
I,
I
I
wouldn't be
think
shocked.
when you look at the Steelers, it's really looking like Le'Veon Bell's going to get the last laugh.
Yeah.
Because you think about if Le'Veon had been playing all year, they're probably going to win that division. They'd be a playoff team. You know, right now the AFC is looking like it's anybody's. You know, Josh Gordon leaving the Patriots with that whole situation, and then so I don't know if New England can somehow get home field advantage. I think they'd be really tough to beat. But if they're on the road, people have proven they can play with them this year. The Chiefs are starting to with Kareem Hunt leaving. They're not as explosive. So I think anybody can win the AFC. So, Le'Veon Bell, I really think that the Ravens are going to win, and Le'Veon Bell is going to get the last laugh as the Steelers are going to be watching. So, but you just look at it without James Conner today, they didn't really have a running. Samuel's 12 carries on 53 yards, so not terrible, but, just not enough. I'm looking, Roethlisberger had to throw the ball 50 times. And, usually when people have to do that, they're not going to beat playoff teams. So just is what it is. But I feel comfortable saying if the Eagles get in the playoffs, they will make the Super Bowl. Nick Foles is dangerous. It just seems like the offense plays so much better with him, and right now he's got it going on. You look back at the Super Bowl and then the last couple games he's played. I mean, whew. So if they make it, uh, I would predict that they're going to win the NFC if they make the playoffs.
I can see that happening. And like you said with the Steelers, I mean they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. I mean they've been close games though that they've lost. They lost to the Broncos by 7, lost to the Chargers by 3, they lost to my Raiders by 3, lost to the Saints by 3. So they've been in those games. Not like they're getting blown out. They're in those games. I mean they just don't have. I mean Le'Veon Bell's their finisher,
Yeah.
and they just don't have him in there. And then James Conner, he's the replacement finisher, and he's not in there. So who do you got to go to finish games like that? And the Steelers, even if they somehow make the playoffs, it's going to be a quick exit because they're going to be playing probably at New England in the first game if the Saint or Patriots are the 3 seed, or if they have to play at Arrowhead, or somehow if they play at the little soccer stadium with the Chargers, I still think they'll get beat. So the Steelers, they're just lacking that finisher. They just don't have it. And I like what Zai said with the Philadelphia Eagles. I would take Nick Foles over Carson Wentz from what I'm seeing here. And I would not be surprised also if they make the Super Bowl again. Now, playing at New Orleans again, that's not going to be easy, but I think the Eagles with Nick Foles, they can give Drew Brees a ride for his money here and give him a tight game.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think the Eagles would definitely be a tough out if they do make it in, which, I mean, the Vikings are going to have to go play the Bears. I'm not sure who's home in that game, but that's going to be, the Bears are playing for a higher seed, so that's going to be a tough win for them. But going back to what Zai said earlier about Drew Brees wrapping up the MVP, I disagree with that, actually. If you saw the game tonight on Sunday Night Football, one very underrated player this year has been Russell Wilson. And I think he made a case tonight that, I mean, yes, it's kind of late in the year, so he's probably not per se going to win the MVP, but he's definitely a strong candidate. Like, by his performance tonight, he had 3 touchdowns tonight, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and beating, the Kansas City Chiefs with a strong statement win. And I also agree that, like, the AFC is a very intriguing, way more intriguing than the NFC. I think NFC, there's only like 3 teams that could probably win that division or win that conference. But AFC, I mean, the Texans, they're going to be a big threat with DeAndre and Deshaun hooking up, that dynamic duo. And even the Colts, I think, if they meet the Titans, they'll be a tough out too. So I think all those matchups are going to be really tight. And I'm not sure he's going to win the conference yet, but I would not be surprised if the Patriots win again.
Real quick, I'll just I think Russell Wilson deserves to be in the top 5 of the MVP race. There's no doubt about that. But with the Saints winning the division, getting home field advantage, I just think Drew Brees has done too much already. But it was a great performance from Russell Wilson tonight, and we'll see. Seattle's another team, but Seattle has proven over the years they're a much different playoff team on the road than they are at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree. But the one thing that'll hurt Russell Wilson in this MVP discussion is that Seattle is not a passing team. I think I've mentioned that in some earlier discussions that, Seattle, they are a run team.
Mm-hmm.
At least they've become one now, with Chris Carson and Davis in the backfield. They can just hand the ball off 30, 35 times. They have the offensive line to do it. But again, hats off to Russell Wilson. I do think he deserves to be in that conversation, but with Seattle and their scheme, I don't see him getting very much talk with the MVP. All right, next we're going to talk about the Josh Gordon situation.